Hello. I'm here to talk about another Beach Boys album. This is another bootleg, and it's called Made in USA. Not to be confused with this, Made in USA. This was made in USA legally. Also not to be confused with Made in California. Once again, you have Brian, Mike, Carl, Dennis, and Al. No Bruce. Sorry, Bruce. He wouldn't care. He doesn't really consider himself a member of the band anyway. He's just a fan. Along for the ride. Carl and the Passions. Inside you have Brother Records label. So, what's on this thing? Well, let's look at the back. A bunch of description here. You can read all about it. Just freeze frame it. Freeze frame it. This is an HD, right? You could freeze frame it and zoom in and read all that stuff. Here's the track listing. Yeah, here it's advertising their other bootlegs. Smile, Landlocked. This one's very, very, very good. Sounds great. This one doesn't sound very good, but it's kind of also magical. You can watch my other video about why I sold that one. Just going through the track listing here, you're going to see a lot of tracks that appear on other Beach Boys bootlegs around the time. First couple tracks here are Pamela Jean and After the Game. Those are, of course, some of Brian's solo efforts under the name of the Survivors from the early 60s. Those are fun to have. Be True to Your School. That is the single version. You know, the cheerleaders. And in mono, of course. Number 4 is The Little Girl I Once Knew. Again, nice to have it on an album. You have 5, Wouldn't It Be Nice? That's the live version from, was it the Big Sur Folk Festival? They don't do the last third of the song where it slows down. I don't know that I love that version of the song, the way they play it live. I mean, Al sounds great, but I missed that part at the end of the song. 6 is Cotton Fields. That's Al's beefed up version. Again, in mono. The Lord's Prayer. That's on a lot of Beach Boys bootlegs around this time. Little Saint Nick. This is the single version with the bells. So strange that Brian took away those bells for the album version. I really wish he would have left those in because it's great to have it here, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of this album. Weird to have a Christmas song amongst all these other ones. There's the live performance of What I'd Say, 1964 Australian tour. This is a pretty special track, actually. The band sounds great. This is early in their touring years. I think Brian is with them. And yeah, they just sound surprisingly great. They almost don't even sound like themselves. Part of that's because they're kind of mimicking the Ray Charles version. I do think that there's this thing that happens sometimes when the Beach Boys, from this period of time of touring and playing live, when they mimic other artists, they almost sound more confident. Like when they play, was it Papa Ooh Mau Mau or Monster Mash? Again, not great songs, but it's almost like because they're from well-established songs and artists that they feel maybe less inhibited. I don't know. I like to hear it. It's about 5 minutes long, and it's probably one of the better tracks on this bootleg. And then the last track on side 1, you have Karen, which was, what was that? It was like a theme song for a show. Side 2, you got Good Vibrations, a 7-minute version of that. At this point, that's not that interesting to have on one of these because you can just hear something like that in much better quality on the Smile Sessions box set. You have Well, You're Welcome. Again, another track that appears a lot on other 80s Beach Boys bootlegs. Never Learn. Oh, that's a tongue twister. Never Learn Not to Love by Charles Manson. And they have that down there. They have the, credit to C. Manson. And that is the single version, the B-side to, what is it, Bluebirds Over the Mountain. Doesn't have that spooky intro with the cymbal, which is nice because I don't really love that intro. Every time I hear that intro to Never Learn Not to Love That. It's like, oh yes, it is a Charles Manson song. And just in case you forgot, here's this really creepy intro before we get to the nice harmonies and beautiful production. Next we have Breakaway, of course, nice to have on an album. Celebrate the News, great Dennis song. It's a Beautiful Day, and Auld Lang Syne, which I believe is without Dennis's Christmas greeting over the top of it. I would say overall this sounds good but not great. I know a lot of these mono singles, they don't naturally have good sound quality, but even then there's a few degrees of separation that just makes this bootleg sound a little hard on the ears, a little strident. And I would say this is not one of my favorite bootlegs, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend going out there to get it. If there's some tracks on here that you really love, if you have to have Karen on an album, then yeah, plunk down some money for it. This probably goes for anywhere between $50 and $100. Not super, super, super rare, so you probably could find it, but not one of my favorites. Well, I was a little disappointed because I got this one right after I got the Landlocked one, and that one sounds amazing. And this one was definitely a step down from that. Of course, these songs are coming from all over the place. A lot of them are in stereo, a lot of them are in mono, a lot of live tracks. It just doesn't sound great. If you're wanting some of these tracks, I would recommend a couple of other albums. First being this one. Whoa! This guy. What are you looking at? The Beach Boys Rarities. This one is a lot easier to find, and it's a lot cheaper. And I would say overall it's a lot better. It sounds a lot better song selection. I'm not going to go through the whole track listing here, but it has a lot of the songs that are on Made in USA. It has You're Welcome, has Lord's Prayer, it has Celebrate the News, Bluebirds Over the Mountain, an alternate version of Good Vibrations. It has Cotton Fields. It has Auld Lang Syne without Dennis's Christmas greeting. So this contains a lot of the same tracks, but just sounds a lot better. You could probably find this for like 10 to 20 bucks. You just have to ignore the cover. This is a weird cover. I feel uncomfortable holding it up right now in front of the camera, to be honest. Another album I would recommend instead is this one, Brian Wilson Rarities, Beach Boys. I love this cover. This cover's great. This came out in Australia. This also has a lot of songs that are on Made in USA. It's got the Be True to Your School. It calls it here the fast version. It's just the single version. It's got Pamela Jane. It's got After the Game. It has Cotton Field single version. It has Celebrate the News along with Lady and Sound of Free. It's got You're Welcome, The Lord's Prayer. It's got What I Say. This one you can also find pretty easy. It's a little bit more expensive than this one. Probably closer to, I don't know, $30 to $40. It doesn't sound pristine, but it sounds good. It sounds better than you think it would. And it's great to have some of these honey singles on here as well. I'm not going to go deep into this one. I'll probably do another video where I talk about this in more depth. But anyways, just some alternatives. That's it. Made in USA. You have any other questions about this bootleg? About its sound quality, about its track listing, about the versions of songs that are on here? Feel free to comment and ask those questions. And lastly, I just want to say, rest in peace, Brian Wilson.